Okay, so here's the deal. I made a video of this girl and it did not post. So any videos that I posted after that are referencing her make no sense. So now I have to reshoot this video. I know it took me a long time to make another video to explain that for those of you who actually watch any of my videos. Hopefully I can keep this one within the time restraints, because I'm seeing now that I can't just go off for 17 minutes talking about a figure. I haven't earned that yet, evidently. So, that being said, let's get into this figure. This is Mary Marvel. She is from I want to say the DC Universe. That's the name of the toy line that I'm telling you right now. She's from the DC Universe Superpower 75, I want to say. I didn't get her in a pack. I got her from a convention. She was loose in a bag. And with that comes a few things. One, loose joints, which she has a few, but that is something that you got to sort of watch out for when you have when you get a figure loose at a convention. You got to watch out for loose joints. But they were selling her for a reasonable price, so I swooped her up. Not too many people have a Mary Marvel figure, and I'm happy to have one. This is a good figure. I enjoy this figure. I like this figure even. But that being said, let's get into it. Now, Mary Marvel is from the DC Universe. Okay, she is from the Captain Marvel family. She's a part of the Captain Marvel universe. Not the one from Marvel, the one from DC, but she's a part of that family. She's literally part of their family. And she also got the power of Shazam, along with Billy Batson. And she can utilize a lot of the same abilities that he can, very similar to the way Supergirl is to Superman. She is like Captain Marvel's counterpart, not the one from Marvel. She is like his counterpart. You don't see her, and I have to really stop saying the word as a filler. You don't see her a lot in the DC universe. I believe they haven't really done anything with her as far as any major storylines for as long as I've been reading. And I've read comics for years, but I can't remember a time where she had a prominent role as a main character, which is a shame because I feel like a lot of comic books have these sort of offshoot characters that are just around that could be doing their own thing. But then that really comes down to writing as well. If you have a character like this one that is like another one, it's difficult to put them in their own thing without the comparisons being made to that other character. And once those comparisons start being made, then people start criticizing and people become cynical. Oh, she's just a copy of such and such. And then people won't read. Which is a shame because I feel like, you could get a lot of mileage out of Mary Marvel on a possible all-female, an all-female Justice something or other. Or maybe, Justice League, maybe Justice Society Incarnation. You can use her. But she invokes the power of Shazam. She can transform using the word Shazam, very similar to Billy Batson. The whole lightning, magic, everything, she's a part of it. But let's get into the figure. I want to start with the color. First off, I have no issues with the design of her costume. This is what Mary Marvel looks like. The only issue I had is with the skirt. I did have to put some slits into it so that way I could get her into more dynamic poses because I use her for toy photography. But starting with the arm, her arm goes around 360. She has a bicep swivel here, single elbow joint. Same thing with the other side, same deal. This arm would go around 360, but it's hindered by her cape. That's for later. She has a fist. Her fist can twist. Moving down to her leg. Her leg is on a ball with a hinge. It goes, it would go back more, but it's hindered by her skirt. Obviously, it goes up forward, which I had to cut just to get that. Single knee joint. It twists at the calf. She has a no ankle rocker, but it does. She has a ankle pivot, not a pivot, but an ankle hinge. Goes up about that much, goes back about that much, which is nice. There are a few discrepancies, and I know there are a discrepancy here with the color of her leg and the color of her arm, which is not really the same. And I know that is a bone of contention for some people. But, I use it for toy photography, and for me, it's something that I barely notice. You got the yellow boot here, which has a blend of another yellow. But this yellow isn't the same as the trim here. Getting to the cape, because I do want to talk about this before we go any further. This cape is not removable. I don't believe it is. No, it's not. This cape is not removable. Luckily, it doesn't throw... Luckily, I was going to say it doesn't throw her off balance very much, but I was wrong. But it can. It's not very heavy material, which is a good thing. So it doesn't throw her off balance as much, but it can. You can't remove it, but it's a hindrance. And it gets in the way of a lot of things, as does her hair. Now, her head can go around 360. Her head can go around 360, but it's hindered by all of this. All of that. And it's etched. It's etched in really nice. It looks really nice. It's a really nice brown. I don't know if it picks it up on the camera, but this is a really, really nice brown. And her face design is good too. Her face design is good too. It's sculpted nice. It's attractive. It doesn't look weird. The only thing that I dislike, and I've always disliked this with any figure or any character, my issue with the face is this. It's not the look on the face. Or should I say, it's not the face itself, because the face looks good. My issue with the face is the expression. Whenever you have a character that is smiling, it always makes it difficult, for me anyway, to do toy photography. Reason being is because you cannot simulate an epic battle between them and another character if they're super cheesing. You can't do it. Because it will always break immersion. No matter how hardcore that scene is, they'll always have this ridiculous smile on their face, like they're just happy to be here. And it's one of very few gripes with this figure. Other than that, this figure is very solid. She has a waist, she twists at the waist. Other than that, this is a very solid figure. You don't see a lot of Mary Marvel figures just lying around, because they don't really make a lot of Mary Marvel figures. This is actually the first one that I've ever seen. I was not aware that they even made a Mary Marvel figure. And I'm sure that you could probably say the same thing. How many people, whether you're the most die-hard, most hardened DC fan, would have her? And when I saw her at the convention in Sacramento, because I do live in Fairfield, California, when I saw her, I picked her up immediately because I knew that I had to have her in my collection, because I'm a DC guy. The Marvel movies are fun, but at the end of the day, I'm a DC guy. And if you are a DC fan, especially a hardcore DC fan, she is somebody that you will want in your collection. And that's just my opinion. Like in all my videos, it's just my opinion. I am not the law. I am not gospel. These are just my opinions on figures that I come across or figures in my collection. Sometimes you can get buyer's remorse, but in this case, I don't. It's a solid figure. You know, it has a few loose joints issues in the knee area, but that's because she came in the bag loose, and whoever had her before probably, put her on display or probably played with her a little bit. That I could have worded that differently. She could have been in use, but she's a solid figure, and I'm glad she's in my collection. I'm glad I picked her up when I did. I knew immediately when I saw her in the bag that I wanted this figure, and I'm very happy with her. I can get a lot of mileage out of a figure like this as far as toy photography. Pictures between her and Thor, or her and any lightning based or electricity based hero. Black Lightning, if they make a figure of him. Static Shock, if they have customs of him. Somebody can make a custom of him. You can get a lot of mileage out of her. And I'm happy she's in my collection. So if you're a diehard DC fan, I'd say if you can find her for a cheap price, if you can find her for a low price, which you shouldn't, because I haven't had a chance to look on eBay for, any solid prices on her. But if you can get her for cheap, I say pick her up. Especially if you have a Captain Marvel figure. Especially. Because she would go perfect, and she's literally a part of his family. So keep the family together. So if you like this video, rate, comment, subscribe, and until next time, follow the Slipstream.